at you from the Exodus headquarters in Ohio. Let's jump right into today's episode.
All right, it is December 18th, and it's episode 17 here at Trail Cam Radio. And it felt like we just started this a week ago, but it's the end of the year, and we're already at episode 17. What do you think?
It's flying by, man. Flying by.
Yeah, for the most part, it's crazy how quick the last couple months of the year always go by. And even once the calendar switches over to January, like your mind already is starting to think at the end of the year, and then as soon as it's here, it's literally just you blink and it's gone.
Dude, a couple weeks ago, I was thinking like, I got married in January 21st. So in the back of my mind, it was late November. You know, things are crazy. Black Friday, trying to capitalize in the deer woods, thinking about what I'm going to do for my wife for our anniversary. And I'm like, oh, I got like 3 or 4 months, like, and then realizing, no, you have about 60 days. It just never slows down, man. And I feel like it gets worse and worse and worse every year.
That scares me because there's always the old people. It goes
right,
faster.
right.
It goes faster. And there's no doubt that, I mean, I consider myself to be pretty young, and it's already going. Like I see what you're saying, and
yeah.
It's crazy. And my birthday this year, I genuinely thought I was a year younger. Like I just lost a whole year, and I was like, well, I guess on to the next year. So it's pretty crazy. But this episode is just kind of take a second to look back into 2018 and see what Exodus kind of did as a brand, and just talk about deer hunting news in general, what happened in the outdoor space, and just kind of a recap to take a second to gather our thoughts, because it does go by so quickly, and I think sometimes it's good to do that.
Yeah, you lead the path, man.
Yeah, so January of 2018, we dropped a camera that we were working on for a while. It's something that a lot of people said, we love what you're doing. We love the 5-year warranty. We wish there was a little bit more budget-friendly camera. It doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles, and that whole project stemmed the Exodus Trek, and we launched the pre-orders in January, and there was a lot of excitement around that, I think internally and then also within the community throughout. So that was something that was really awesome to kick off the year and kind of get the ball rolling in momentum for the deer hunting 2018 season, and also internally here at Exodus.
Yeah. That whole project had me kind of, up and down, coming off that Lift 2 project where we built, one of the best cameras in the industry when you look at the photo quality, video quality, and, all around performance. To work off that and come out with a less expensive model. I don't like to use the word cheap because it's not a cheap camera, but a less expensive model that maybe doesn't have the specifications. Like as a Lift 2, it was hard for me to come down off of the Lift 2 project with the Trek, and it had me, I just wasn't excited about it. But 11 months later, like, that thing has been, knock on wood, it's been bulletproof. Like, we've sold so many of those, brought in so many new customers, and it's been great for our brand. And could end up being our most reliable camera that we'll ever build. Like, the thing is just, it's crazy how well it's doing.
Yeah, it's a great camera. I think I used between 5 and 15 of them this year. I don't have an exact count on how many I were using, but I haven't had a single issue with one of them. And one of them, I was messing with it too much, and the whole door broke off. The entire door broke off, and I was goofing around. I spray painted, I kind of gave it a mod job, and I put that out with no door. All the SD card slot was exposed, the USB port was exposed, and I threw that on a tree, and I put a set of lithium batteries on there, and I checked that camera for the first time this last Sunday, and that includes sleet storms, snowstorms, and guess what? It didn't miss a beat. There was not a time where sometimes cameras is like, that camera didn't take a picture for 4 days. What happened? Like, it was just boom, worked flawlessly, and all the other cameras, performed just like that. And a lot of positive feedback from people who have bought the cameras. It's we wish you could say out of 1,000 cameras, there's not one that has an issue, but the reality of the situation is there's going to be an issue once in a while, and it's kind of how mitigating those risk factors and taking care of the people when they do have those issues. But with the Trek, it's kind of made our job pretty easy with that.
I can say, I mean, I deal with cameras coming in, I don't want to say all the time, but, on a bi-daily basis, a couple times a week or whatever, and I can probably say there's been less than 10 of those come in with actual manufacturing problems or a actual camera problem, and 2 of those were this week. Just runaway PIR sensors. But man, I have several of those in the woods. They're phenomenal in those static environments, man.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, and I could see kind of your frustration with the development of you're coming off of releasing the Lift 2. Mm-hmm. You got the Lift 2 video in your brain. You got those super crisp photos. But I would say overall, I mean, the night pictures of that Trek has been really solid. Oh, yeah. Very, very, very little motion blur. And the day pictures are pretty solid. I'm not going to say they're the best ever, but for a $145 camera, I really think that probably has – I sound biased, but probably the most value per dollar in that trail camera bracket. Now, I'm not –
in that price range.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you stack up, all the models between $100 to $150, let's say. And that thing's right there at the top. There's no doubt about it. And guys love them because they could buy, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. And really, like I said, for a static environment, I don't know that there is a better camera dollar for dollar.
I would agree. And it's everyone's trying to get the most out of their dollar from anything. And I think for us to be competitive, especially in this space, having a camera like that is essential overall, especially how just the trail camera market has kind of moved, and there's a lot of options, so you have to be ultra competitive on the development end to have a camera that can compete in those kind of scenarios.
Yeah, and it's good for our brand too to be kind of multidimensional. Not when we launched the company essentially with one camera, and then the second camera was built off of the Lift series. I think this showed that we're more than like a one-trick pony per se, and we had some depth in what we were able to do. So it's been good.
Yeah, and that just goes to show the development on our end of developing a camera that has those results. I mean, these projects aren't easy.
No.
I mean, I don't want to I think people get upset when are you going to release this camera? When are you going to release this camera? To have a camera that we're really proud of and we think is going to do fantastic. There's a lot of extra hoops to jump through that maybe other product companies don't.
Well, that's just it. I mean, if we wanted to put out a new camera, just to put one out, we could do it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We could go to China or wherever overseas and find a product and put our name on it. But that's not who we are. We don't white label these products. We go through from the very ground floor all the way through. Now it becomes easier once you've done several of them. There's a format or template that we can almost follow now. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's about putting our name on something that we can be proud of and knowing that we're doing it right.
I think that's apparent. So if we had a look at the trail camera calendar, it's pretty slow the first half of the year as far as things that are going on in the woods. You might be chasing some turkeys, seeing what bucks have shed. So we're going to fast forward a little bit into one of my favorite times of the year, Velvet Fest. So that's kind of a combination of an annual sale and also celebrating the official start to the whitetail season. And that's something we kind of coined this year. We kind of dug our heels in and said, this is, we're owning.
Yeah, we trademarked it.
Yeah, we literally own it now.
Yeah.
And I love Velvet Fest because there's a little excitement in the air once we launch that.
Dude, it's my second favorite time of the year. You have warm summer nights, you're driving down the road with windows down, music blaring, whatever, out looking for deer. It's just the excitement that deer season is around the corner. Bucks are finally starting to, grow some velvet. It's just, I don't know, it just makes me feel good just thinking about it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
It's a fresh slate, clean slate to a new season. And all those traumatic experiences in the previous season are in your distant memory at that point, and you can focus on building a quality season. And we did more with Velvet Fest this past year than in previous years, and so we gave away a mega prize package, and Cole Mountain of Pennsylvania, he won that competition. And a quick teaser for 2019 is going to be, I'm going to say 10 times crazier than it was this past year. So if you enjoy it, you're really gonna like it, and it's
something easy everybody can get involved in. It's just like
hashtag
any kind of deer work photos, trail camera photos, anything that gets you basically into deer woods. You use the hashtag and you're entered to.
Yeah.
I mean, we gave away all kinds of stuff. We had bronc boxes. Well, one bronc box. Trying to think.
Deer Lab,
trail cameras,
Wicked hand saws, glacier coolers.
Yeah, I mean there was a pretty sweet prize package there.
Mineral, legendary whitetails. Gave a ton of
Onyx map.
Yep, Onyx maps. So we had a lot of involvement with other brands, and we're gonna build off of that, and we're gonna expand it too. So man, I'm really excited for Velvet Fest. As we're looking into 2019. That's one campaign or one time a year where I think it's great, and it's not necessarily sales oriented. It's more just community driven and
absolutely
get everyone excited for the year. Yep. Another note that I have, I called this year the year of the beast.
Like 2018, you called the year of the beast?
Yeah, like the year of the dog. This is the year of the beast. The beast community has this.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm a noob. Like this was kind of like the first year that I would even consider. Looking into the beast community, and I know that you were more familiar with that in previous years. But everywhere I looked, I felt like hang and bang. Yep. Those buzzwords were nonstop everywhere, and I think that has been more than any other year, and that style is gaining a lot of popularity. Mm-hmm. I spent more money than what my car's worth on portable stands. Probably very irresponsible just to chase whitetails in this manner because I didn't want to tear down every single time.
Actually, we got some stuff that just came in yesterday or the day before to add to your arsenal. So those Tethrd tree saddles came in.
Yeah, that's another great example. The Year of the Beast, they launched, and I didn't realize this, but the founder had a solid YouTube channel before he started this.
I didn't know that either.
I hope I'm not wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like G3 on YouTube. And I remember randomly typing in like saddle, and then so just kudos on how they launched that brand. And it seems like a lot of people are buying into what they're doing, and it seems like they do a good job as well.
Yeah, the saddles have been around for a while. Trophy Line I think was one of the first like major brands, I guess, taking that device out of the arborist world and into the deer hunting world, which I have an old Trophy Line that Matt and I got into probably 2014, 2015, I think. So a little bit familiar with them. I'm excited to see the innovation and, building off that platform, what Tethrd did. I'm excited to actually use that product and see what it's about. So I know it'll save my back and legs some pain on those long walks on public. So it should be pretty cool. I mean, it's different. It's different than hunting in a stand. There's a lot of advantages, but it takes some time to get used to. And for me, it'll be a situation where I've used it in the past, used the platform the saddle, not I shouldn't say platform, that's the wrong word. But I've used a saddle in the past, but not using it in 12 months or 16 months, whatever it's been. I didn't use it at all this year. It's still going to take some time to get used to the shooting position, being able to maneuver, all that kind of stuff. So that's one cool thing that I'm actually looking forward to here in the next couple of weeks if I'm able to get out, because I'll definitely use it.
Yeah. So that's definitely a good tool to have.
Yeah.
In your style of hunting.
The beast thing, hats off to Dan, because that guy has given, and I say given because he's done
literally given.
He's done it for nothing.
Yeah.
He's done it to help the industry, to help the hunting community, to help individuals. The knowledge, the information, the time, everything that he has given, we can't say thank you enough for what he's done. And I think that over several years and all the content that they're putting out through podcasts, the forum, the YouTube stuff, the stuff with the hunting public, like it's just all gaining so much traction. I don't think it's ever going to stop or slow down.
No, I mean, hats off to him. He's a pioneer in that regard.
Yeah.
As far as being so generous with that information. I think there's probably folks who are probably almost, great deer hunters as well, but
They're not doing it for
the hunting public land though too. Like those people hold their cards very close to their chest.
Yeah.
And Dan's like, hey, this documents it, and it's it's not high production value. It's just what it is for face value. Take it or leave it if you want to learn something new.
Yep.
So I have a lot of respect for that. So this is the year that 2018 was the year of the beast. We'll see what 2019 brings. Speaking of another thing that I'm proud to see or happy to see is whenever Dan releases another set of sticks, they're like gone and they're gone before they're even hit the store. So that's
they're doing every production run is basically sold within 24, 48 hours. Like there's just guys lined up. Like they can't even make them fast enough. And I think that, they're bringing manufacturer produced on somewhat of a small scale. I think Dan actually has a manufacturing or machining background, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't know that. For some reason, I want to say he is. That's what he is. He's a machinist by trade, but not 100% certain on that. But yeah, I'm actually kind of excited to see what he does with the stand. The prototype stand, if that's going to go into production. But I haven't used the sticks. I've seen them read a lot of good things about them. So hats off to him. That's cool.
Absolutely. And another thing that we did throughout the summer, I don't even remember what month it was. It might have been August or July. We did the For Life campaign with XOP.
Yes.
For that, so
that was big.
Yeah,
that was a big deal. Like tree stands and trail cameras for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and there was a ton of entries, and I want to say the lucky name was Josh or Joseph.
Josh. I just talked to the guy a couple days ago. Rinola. I don't know how to say his last name. Maybe I shouldn't even say his last name.
Scratch that.
Sorry, Josh.
So yeah, we were pretty happy to do that, and that's probably another thing that we'll do kind of on an annual scale.
Yeah.
Don't hold us to it, but we penciled it in for this upcoming year, and that's just the way we can give back to the community. That's one less thing to buy every year because those are two things that everyone could use more of in most scenarios. Kind of switching gears into the news space. Now, hopefully we don't ruffle any feathers with this, but we want to talk a little bit about just different news stories throughout the year, and one of them is the YETI NRA fallout.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have your own opinion about this, but I'm still buying YETI stuff. And if you look at their website, they still do a ton for conservation.
Yeah.
They have a huge budget. They just went public this year. Mm-hmm. Their IPO went public. Name another brand within this space that does that much and has that much available assets to support this lifestyle.
Yeah, there is. I don't think that there is. No, I'm with you, and I actually probably I don't know all the information. At the time, when did that stuff happen? In the spring, I think.
It happened in the spring, and
like beginning of quarter two, somewhere along that.
And I know the NRA dropped that on like a Friday afternoon, so it could fester throughout a whole weekend.
Well, here's the thing. I believe I went back and read YETI's stance on this, and if my memory serves me correctly, they didn't pool any dollars. All the whole thing stemmed from YETI reallocating or reworking like their pro staff or their pro
to where NRA buys those tumblers at a specific rate.
Yes, that's all. It was just a reworking of that specific program, whether it was their industry program, the pro application program, whatever you want to call it. I guess industry would probably be a better word, but simply that brand reworking that. Stuff like that just drives me nuts. Like. Especially position, I'm a huge Second Amendment supporter, but I do not like lobbyists in Washington. Like I'm not going to get on the political train and going down that road, but I just don't think lobbyists should be in Washington, whether that's the NRA. Now I understand it's a necessity to have them there because of today's political environment. So. I understand it, but across the board, I just don't buy into the lobbyist thing.
Mm-hmm. But I think nonetheless, it was a pretty big story.
Oh, it was
for this space, and the more people, the more companies that champion that level of conservation.
Well, here's the thing I don't get: like, the NRA needs hunters. Yeah. They need our membership dollars to help their cause. So, them divide it just makes sense.
Polarize
make the situation worse than what it is, blow it out of proportion, and have YETI. I just don't. It just doesn't sit well with me.
But I think you said you almost forgot about it. So
it does, but now it's like, yeah.
We probably ripped off the Band-Aid for whoever listens to this and will remember it. But I guess that's another point that people forget just as
it's true.
often as they remember.
True.
But another kind of interesting things that happened in my home state of Illinois, there was 2 really big bucks shot. One was, I haven't kept up on it much, but one should be the new state record for Illinois. Mm-hmm. And I have a buddy from high school who lives down in Paris. He went to Eastern EIU, and then he's an athletic trainer for a high school down there. And he worked. Long story short, it's just like any good hunting story. He knows the person that knows the person type deal. And I guess I don't know if they knew about the deer 100% sure or not, but according to him, that it was a deal where they draw straws on where. Like who hunts what stand kind of deal, so it
was on a lease or a club or something.
No, this guy was from I want to say Virginia, and he just came back, and that was the first time he hunted on the farm, and it was like you draw a straw and go. Now that could be 100% wrong,
right?
But that's what I heard.
You heard.
Yeah. So it was a really big deer though. It's like 280 something.
Yeah.
And then another, I want to say it was first shotgun season, so 3rd weekend in November. Another deer was shot with a ton of points, and they're saying it might be the most scoreable point buck shot. So not inches, but it'll be the record for most scoreable points on a whitetail.
I don't know if I heard about that or not.
Yeah, it was 3rd week in November. I'm from Illinois, so of course I see it probably more than you, but that was a pretty interesting thing. And another, I couldn't find it, but there was a giant typical buck shot in Michigan at the end of October. Like it would have been the 30th, 31st, or maybe even the 28th, right in that time frame. And that one was a giant, and I hope to see more and learn more about that story. But I saw those when I first saw the pictures. It looked fake, like this, it was like just like so ginormous. Really? But it came out, from what I could tell, it looked legit. And I have a little bit of a journalism bone in my body too. Like when I find these things, like I dive as deep as I can to see if it's legitimate, or at least try to get somewhat close to the source.
When you say like how big, like
Booner, like probably 195 to 215.
Really?
Gross, typical.
Really?
Not net. But it was like a ginormous frame.
Yeah.
I'd say 190 all day minimum. And it was southern Michigan. I mean,
man, how did I miss that?
I don't know. Kevin Visiston, if you're listening to this, let us know. But that was one that caught my eye because it seems like every year there's a couple deer that just absolutely shatter the internet. And I would say, at least from what I saw, I would consider that Michigan buck one of them, and then the Illinois buck is another one. But is there any bucks that you remember seeing, scratching your head, saying, "Holy cow"?
I mean, there was a bunch of 200-inch deer killed in Ohio.
It's crazy.
Every year.
Yeah.
The Featherhoff buck, I think is that his name? Ethan Featherhoff. He killed a.
Is that one with a giant flyer?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what that deer looked like. I think it went like 220 or 230. It was non-typical, I believe. And he killed it the first day of the season, first sit. That's kind of why it stands off. He had years, I think 2 or 3 years of history with deer. He knew he was going to kill it. Mm-hmm. I actually talked to him on the phone. An interesting story, like he tore his labrum or something in his shoulder and basically could not shoot his bow all year. He said he shot his bow 3 or 4 times right before the season just to make sure everything was good, and that's all he could shoot. And he didn't want to have the surgery because he didn't want to kill the deer with a crossbow. That was his thing. So he went in, first sit, 1 arrow, killed the deer, and then like a week later had the surgery done.
Kudos to that guy,
dude.
Yeah, that's serious.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty awesome to stick to the compound, because if there was a time to cop out and not there's anything wrong with use the compound bow or a crossbow, but if there was a time where you would use that as a arch, if you got a busted body and you can't do it. Another crazy thing throughout the season was the founder of Kuiu.
Yes.
That took I think it took everyone by surprise and storm as well.
Yeah, that was a bad deal, man. Jason, he's done a lot on the apparel side of things, starting Sitka, selling Sitka, starting Kuiu with the whole direct-to-consumer business model, which we've kind of not necessarily didn't fall in our lap, but we've looked at them kind of as another premier brand and almost like looked up to them like a big brother. Like,
Yeah.
oh, what's Kuiu doing? How are they doing?
They're
this?
trailblazers.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And Jason was the forefront of that, and that was really unfortunate news. And I think the thing to take away there is like you just don't know what people are dealing with. From the outside looking in, like beautiful family, $50 million a year company, and you just never know what's going on. So, it's a bad deal. Well, it's a bad deal.
Absolutely, and I think definitely left a positive legacy, and
absolutely.
And I think Kuiu isn't going anywhere, and I think they're going to continue to grow very quickly. And they, as a company, I think they do a lot of things right. They make a premium quality product, and they're very price competitive, and their staff is very knowledgeable about everything they sell. And as a fellow direct-to-consumer company, you're in good company with an organization like that.
What they do, it's kind of remarkable. Like, you look at their product lineup, and it's like, oh, my gosh, how do they handle all that? Like, all the different SKUs, the different sizes, like, it would be a nightmare. I would never want to be an apparel company.
No.
Just the inventory asset you have built up, like, sitting in a warehouse. Like,
and all of it's so technical, too. Like, it's all
very technical.
Like, down to the gram, down to
it's
heat ratios.
No, that's it. Like, their target audience or their target market are those Western hunters going on those backpack hunts and doing some extraordinary things in the Western world, and they have to be technical. I mean, it's down to the ounce that they're putting on their back, because they're walking 20 miles or whatever. I'm not a big backcountry Western hunter, but I mean, if you're carrying, I know what it's like carrying 30 pounds and a couple miles in a whitetail wood. So I can imagine putting 50 pounds on your back and trekking 20 miles or 30 miles. So I have a lot of their stuff. Super, super happy with just about all of it. Continue to be a supporter of that brand. I think they're doing great things, and they have some great products. So I don't think they're going anywhere.
I would agree. If speaking of the year of 2018, especially with the Exodus, if you followed us or if you were at the Harrisburg show, you saw our render model prototype at that show, and it's no secret. We've been working on this model for a long time, and so maybe it was the year of the beast for the community, but today Exodus was the year of the render and getting that thing ready to go. Yeah.
It's been, the product's been a grind. We wanted to have it out in September. Of course, we missed that. There were a few firmware bugs, the biggest one being that OTA function, getting that worked out. And finally, we're there. We're playing with cameras this afternoon, doing some stuff with the firmware. So we're excited to roll that out in 2019. We think it's going to be a big, big hit at that price point. And again, it shows a depth for our brand, being able to do different things. And it's definitely the most complicated project we've ever done. Not only on the camera side, but just, for myself, okay, being familiar with the technical side of cameras, knowing how they work, knowing how to troubleshoot them, knowing how they're designed, all that good stuff. Trying to troubleshoot these, while we're running these samples, it was hard for me to figure out some of the stuff that was going on, because the camera took a picture, but it didn't transmit or didn't upload. Is it the camera? Is it Verizon? Is it the app on your phone? Is it the iOS version that's on your phone? Like, there are so many variables on this product. It was. I think that's why my hair's receding.
Maybe, man. Well, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm very excited about the render, and there's like so many times this year where I was like, oh man, like having one or testing one, but I have to be responsible, like trying to progress it and not use it selfishly. And I'm so excited for it in 2019. And I have a feeling if you're listening to this, you're probably just as excited about the render as well. And I don't know. If you listen to the end of last week's episode, I was off a whole week. If that tells you anything how crazy things have been, I thought
I wondered about that when you said it. I was like,
well, I have a dry erase calendar, and I was looking at that, and I had like half of November on the top part, and like I screwed up writing down the calendar with the sharp or with the dry erase marker, and I looked at it. Then after I got done, I was like, next week is not Christmas. So, anything that you're really looking forward to in 2019 before we send off?
I don't know, man. I just take it one day at a time. I mean, I'm excited about every freaking day. Like, I'm just happy to get up, go to work, go to the gym, have this company, have the opportunity just to live every day, man. I don't know. I just get fired up about everything. I don't think I'm going to fill my buck tag in 2018. It's not looking good. The weather's not. I don't even know if I'll get out unless there's a big front that rolls in after Christmas. So that would be one thing. Like that next cold front for me to be able to get on something. I'm looking forward to that.
When does Ohio season close?
February.
Oh, it goes in all the way.
Yeah, it's late. Like February 2nd or.
That's really late.
Yeah.
You'll have a cold front by then.
Oh yeah, it's whether or not I want to can sit through it.
You have to, man.
I know.
You have to at this point.
I know.
That's really late. I mean, I bet you people accidentally shoot some bucks that late in the season. Yeah. I have one buck that has dropped already. He's probably sick. But.
That deer, Billy the Kid, that big 6-pointer that we thought was going to be like just a shoe-in to kill this year that never showed up, which he's probably dead. But last year that deer shed in January. Yeah. And there was a few other bucks on that property that shed late January. So, yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, if you shoot one, man, don't even touch its antlers because they pop right off.
Yep.
I've had that happen. It happened to me
really?
once. Yeah. It was muzzleloader season.
Uh-huh.
And it was a drive, and I shot it. It was probably like a 120-inch deer. And I was so excited. I went up and like, boop, boop. I was like, no.
Both of them.
Yeah. I was like, no. So I'm super superstitious. If it's this time of the year, if I shoot a bug,
don't touch it.
I'm not. Yeah, for pictures, I might hold its neck.
Drag him by the legs.
Yeah, honestly. But no, I'm looking forward to 2019. 2018 felt like a pretty quick year, and I don't know. I just feel every year we dig our heels into this space a little bit more.
Yeah. And
it's always great hearing random folks say that they enjoy our brand, and it's even more fun to talking to people who are like Exodus, and then like pretty soon like, oh, I saw your guys' stuff the other day, or I saw someone was using your camera. So that's always exciting to see the brand grow. I mean, we're in the trenches every single day, and kind of see someone else's perspective looking into the brand and see like, oh man, you guys are doing good stuff. So that is that's always a good thing, and I think that's going to go kind of exponentially in 2019.
It is. I mean, just thinking, earlier today, recapping some of the stuff for 2018 and kind of forecasting in 2019, just on the content side, like this platform, this medium, like I'm excited about this. This is something new. I'm glad that we started and glad that we're executing on it weekly. I know sometimes we falter on that, but the podcast, the added YouTube content, like everything that we're doing on that end, that stuff pays big dividends for us just to be transparent and share what we're doing, and really help educate folks on the trail cam, in the trail cam world. There's a lot of, obviously we provide a lot of value for all of you listening, but it's one of those things where, kind of like what Dan, maybe this is Dan's perspective on giving away all his information. Like it actually does make me feel good that we're helping people regardless of, they choose us or choose somebody else.
If you pull up our Google Analytics at almost any time of the day, there's a couple people surfing our blogs, and it's always, it's stuff that we've written in the past or something we've written more recently. And that's always good to see that random people are just had a specific question, went in, found it, and hopefully they found their answer in that. And so that's always great. And I think that's something to be proud of and something that's going to improve in 2019. And I'll open this up to anyone listening. If you guys want to hear a specific person on this podcast, or you want to hear about a specific topic, or if you have any ideas or thoughts or criticisms or affirmations, whatever the case may be, please do so. And we listen to all those things and we take those things into consideration. And I think the Trek is the prime example of that. So it's true. We're not just saying that. We really do put those things into action if you reach out. So
yeah. And when you listen to us talk, we by no means do we claim to be, experts at a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. We're sharing our knowledge of what we know, experiences from what we see, and hands-on experience with the actual going through the development of the product and troubleshooting and all of that stuff. So if anybody out there has different opinions, don't feel free to share some of that stuff too. Or if you're a software engineer or hardware engineer that if you work for Google, I'm sure you're probably a little smarter than than we are. So we'd love to hear all sides, good or bad.
Absolutely. So I guess we'll send you guys off into 2019 now. When I said last week, I'm going to say again. So next Tuesday is officially Christmas, and we will not have a podcast for that week. Hopefully you guys take a minute to enjoy catching up with your family, open up some presents. But you best believe the very first day of 2019 is Trail Cam Tuesday. So if that's
really?
Yeah, so you best believe it's about to be a good year. And we'll be dropping you a fresh episode to kick off the year on the very first. So don't have too much fun to kick you off the new year, because we're going to have an episode for you bright and early.
That's right. You can recover on the couch, listen to the Trail Cam Radio.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, and we look forward to 2019.
Merry Christmas, everybody.